In this video, I wanted to talk about NLA tracks and how Send to Unreal uses them to associate particular actions with a particular object. For example, if you take a look at this mannequin character right here, I currently have an animation on it, and it's just the run animation that comes from Engine. If I go pipeline, export, send to Unreal, you can see that we get our third-person run animation over here in the engine, which is fine. But I want to show you how this differs from an actual export with just an FBX file. If we go to File, Export, we go to FBX, and we just export to test animtest.fbx, and I go over here to my animation settings, you'll see there's a couple options here. There's all actions, which we'll basically export every single action that we find in the scene, whether it is in a track or not. And then there's NLA strips, which basically only exports non-muted NLA strips from the NLA editor. If I go ahead and just export an FBX like this, I'll show you what happens. I'm just going to go ahead and import it onto that skeleton. As you can see, we end up with a lot of animations. We have this walking animation, also have the actual third-person run cycle that was actually on our object. So this is not what we want. Basically, we want to tie actions to objects that they're only associated with in Blender. And how we do this is in our FBX settings, basically we have that all actions export option ticked off. And so in order for that to work correctly, you need to have your actions underneath an NLA track on your object. So you can see right now that this third-person run action is actually an NLA track, and it's unmuted, and it's underneath our root rig object. What if we wanted to export multiple actions on a single object? We would do this by simply adding the action to the object's NLA stack. So, for example, if you look at my scene here, I have this other object, and it has animation on it, and it's the third-person walk. And this current rig I have right here has a third-person run cycle. If I wanted to put both of those animations on that rig, what I would do is I would simply go over here, and I would go to third-person walk. And because you can see that Send to Unreal auto stashes the actions into the strip, you can see that the third-person run is an NLA track. And that's essentially what Send to Unreal will do. If it sees an object in the active animation, it will push it down into the NLA stack. That way it ensures it gets exported. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Pipeline, Export, Send to Unreal. You can now see that it has exported our walk, and it has also exported our run. One important thing to note is that the length of your NLA strips determines the length of your animation in Engine. For example, I'm just going to open up this third-person run. And as you can see, if I go over here, I just hit N, and I go down to the actual clip action, and I just change the frames to about 10 frames. I'm going to go ahead and just re-export. And you can see that it's clipped my animation. If I just set this back, I go over here, and I scale the actual strip. I just export and send over to Unreal. You can see it speeds it up. So that's how NLA strips work with Send to Unreal.